Hi,
Awesome.
everyone.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, Jeff. How are
Oh,
you?
it's so great to see everybody.
Doing all right. I don't know if I'm sure you guys have heard that I was named a Flutie Fellow at the Doug Flutie Foundation.
So
Congratulations.
exciting, Jeff. So proud of you.
It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I love it. We have a lot of dads on here. Hello, Josh. Hello, Tamar and Thomas.
Oh, so Josh is my brother. So he's the uncle. He's a proud uncle, Sienna and Luke.
Very nice.
I love that.
And this is my friend Thomas.
I
Thomas.
feel like a father
Thomas,
sometimes.
welcome.
Yeah, yeah. Josh is like my surrogate father for these kids. Yeah, Thomas. This is his first time. At our
Doing
meeting.
Zoom, yes.
Doing Zoom
Very
too.
cool.
It's our first time. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Looking
Well,
forward to it.
welcome.
I'm sorry that you have to be traumatized by the hideousness of this horrible visage.
Not at all. No.
If there's any nausea, vomiting, or profane speech, please forgive me.
I like your sense of
Oh, we're
humor.
gonna get along just fine.
I told him I don't like looking at myself either. So I think we're all in good company.
Oh yeah, no, the sound of my own voice. Oh yeah, all the same deal.
Yeah, we all feel that way.
I had to consider bringing a brown paper bag with eye holes. Or perhaps doing the Lemony Snicket method of holding up a book.
I love it. And I think ability rehabilitation is new. Who is that? Hello.
Hi, how are you guys? This is my first time. My name is Mono, by the way. Mono.
Mono.
Hey,
Well,
pleasure to meet
nice
you.
to meet you.
Nice, thank you. Nice to meet you too.
And we have Carl. Hi, Carl. And Joy and another iPhone, which might be one of our other families. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining our Lunch and Learn. I'll go ahead and get started. And we have a couple Zoom rules for those of you who are new or who haven't joined in a while. Please, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. All right. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we'd love to see all your smiling faces. Please type all questions and comments into the chat. You can feel free to unmute yourself at the end. We have a Q&A with Mike, our Suponitsky, who is our guest speaker today. So you can feel free to ask any questions or type it in the chat and I can read it for you. If Mike asks any questions, you can feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. We'd love to see and engage with everybody on this. This is just a time for all of us to connect and really get to know one another and get to know our guest speaker. A quick update from Autism Tree. We have now reached over 709,000 people across all of our social media channels. We do it all. It's LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We constantly post every single day and every week. We also record these lunch and learns and post them on our YouTube channel. So we have 94 recordings already on our YouTube channel. It's a long playlist. We have different guest speakers every single week. We've been doing this every single week since the pandemic first started in March of 2020. And we've just continued it because it's been a beautiful way to just keep everyone inspired and keep moving forward together and connecting with those who are even outside of San Diego County and in different countries. It's been a really amazing journey. So I highly recommend you check those out. Since January of 2022, we have coordinated 145 events, family events for our children and families, with 61 coming up between now and the end of the year. So there's plenty to get involved. On average, we do over 200 events to get our families into the community, doing fun events like music therapy or Lego playgroup or food and farming. We have so many different programs. We have 19 programs virtually, 13 are in person. We do have some of those hybrid. So there's lots to get involved in. And we also have 475 videos on our YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, that we would love that. Follow us. We constantly post, like I said, videos every week. 415 of those videos have been posted since March of 2020, which is just mind-blowing that we're on year 3 of the pandemic. And but still, it's been a real big blessing being able to connect with everyone online. A special thank you to our Lunch and Learn sponsor, CalAble. We've done 4 or 5 CalAble Lunch and Learns where you can learn more about CalAble. It's a financial savings and investment state program. We highly recommend you check it out if you know somebody with autism or who's got a diagnosis before the age of 26, or if they have any disability, a CalAble account is a really useful resource. So you can check out their website. We also send a recap at the end of this Friday. We send it to everyone who signed up to register for this. So you will receive a recap email with more information on CalAble as well as our guest speaker today. And now I'll pass it off to our executive director and co-founder, Dana Hoff, and she'll be introducing Mike.
Thank you, Rebecca. It's so nice to be here with everybody. It's really special, actually, how I met Mike. I can't wait to tell you, but I wanted to give a little plug and a lot of gratitude to Rebecca for, we are working tirelessly on our neuroscience conference that's coming up. It is literally less than 2 months away. And I wonder if you have not registered, maybe we could do that. Take a moment and Rebecca could send out a link right now while I'm introducing Mike, and you can sign up, because the really beautiful thing is we are going to do a hybrid. So if you're in San Diego, you can come in person. And if you're not, that's okay. You can come virtually. We're going to be paying UCTV again to record it. And right now we're so pumped and excited because we've had over 92,000 views of our last year's conference. This is a complete quantum leap if you consider that the actual theater where we did the neuroscience conference pre-pandemic only holds about 400 people. So, I mean, to go from 400 people to 92,000 people watching the conference is just an incredible blessing. So I hope that you'll join us. And also I want to give a shout out to Jeff, because I know he's going to fly out from Massachusetts, and he's going to be at the conference, as well as signing the book that he authored. So he'll be doing a book signing. I'm really looking forward to having you there, Jeff. And you've been a part of this for many years now, and not only helping guide the neuroscience conference, but the Lunch and Learn. So many of you on here have been part of this whole journey of building this Lunch and Learn platform. And Rebecca and I daily feel really inspired by these Lunch and Learns. We use them as a resource constantly. So I want to thank everyone who continues to build this incredible platform as a way to communicate, as a way to grow, and as a way to each week we can have people internationally even. And we have, last week we had Francisco, as you met him. He was actually in San Diego from Brazil, but he's come to us from Brazil before too. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to sign up and register for the conference if you haven't. And with that, I want to give Mike a warm welcome. Rebecca did a slide, Mike. I want to bring it up and show this this far left picture is our board member, Linda Townsend. And you can see it was during the holidays. And she really hasn't referred that many people to Autism Tree. When she does, it's an absolute heart connection, which really is how Autism Tree works. You know, it's like one heart connecting to another. So Linda had this huge connection, heart connection, you can see with Mike, even in the photo. And so the next photo is Todd and I getting on Mike and his wife's calendar, which took a lot for all 4 of us to connect. But we did, and that photo is really us getting to know Mike and his beautiful wife and learn more about their family and what was going on. And it really meant a lot to Todd and I. I think that, you know, our son is 22, and it really kind of brought us back to the realization that, wow, you know, as challenging as we remember it being, we were humbled and thinking, you know, this pandemic has made it even far more challenging for families. So it just kind of reinvigorated and validated what we already know, that we all need to be doing what we're doing, and Autism Tree is such a family. And I think you saw the photo next to that was Todd and with Mike. And so, you know, I feel like that was really a bonding thing, Mike, with you and your wife, of just realizing that the truth that Autism Tree was started one family at a time, and we can continue going into our 20th year to meet each family where they are. And I really am grateful to our board for spending a good part of a year and having amazing guidance from Eric Kusik, who's a father on our board who has 3 children on the autism spectrum. And our pillars are, if you want to know the acronym, it's ECEC. And I feel, you know, that I'd like to share this as a starting point each lunch and learn, is that to focus ourselves that truly what Autism Tree is, we embrace each family. You saw in the photos that was happening. Our board member Linda embraced Mike, and then she connected Mike to us, parents who've been through it. And then we empower our families. Here's Mike today being empowered to share his story, which I can't even find the words for. I'm just incredibly proud of you and blessed to be part of your family, Mike. And you have this big Autism Tree family. And the last thing we do is we help create the vision that the family's trying to build for their child, or the adult with autism is trying to build for themselves. So that's the acronym for our pillars, ECEC. And I find myself giving out my business card all the time now, because that's on the back of it. And I really like to go over that, of like, this is what Autism Tree really is. So Mike, with that, I just want to give you a big, warm virtual hug and welcome you to the Lunch and Learn.
Thank you. Right back at you. And again, I'm so incredibly grateful for the opportunity, both to speak today, as well as, you know, to be a part of this incredible family and community. And the first thing I wanted to bring up is, you know, as you said, kind of the way that I was brought in was so special and so unique. It was actually kind of funny. So Linda was actually a connection that I made through a coworker, an executive chef that I work with. That's my background right now, as I'm at the restaurant that I'm currently running. So I met her through the restaurant, and she's a wonderful human being. She is the absolute master, along with Dana, of, you know, networking and connecting and creating levels of philanthropy that reach the masses and are able to positively impact the most amount of people. And her and I really hit it off. And it was ironic that she actually started to bring me in Giving Tuesday of last year. And when we had initially started conceiving the idea to do the Giving Tuesday event here, I was very excited. I was all about it, anything that I could do. And it was actually during the planning and execution of that event that my wife and I got the official autism diagnosis for our younger son. We have 2 sons. Our older is 7, and he has an ADHD diagnosis like his father. I'm trying very hard to speak slowly, as I'm known to go very quickly. I'm certainly ADHD, and, you know, it's something that has been unmedicated my entire life. And, you know, having an older son who's very much like me, who was kind of on that border where, you know, they weren't sure for a while if he was on the autism spectrum or if he was leaning more towards ADHD. And then with our youngest, when he actually got that diagnosis, it's kind of funny in the sense that my wife and I never felt overwhelmed, and we never felt like we were in any sort of danger. But we immediately thought about what we could do to create the best opportunities and the best life for our children. And that's the thing that I'm the most grateful for with Autism Tree Foundation, is creating this community, creating these programs, and creating such a giant blanket of love and compassion and understanding and resources and like-minded individuals that never existed before. And when we were able to catch each other's time, which again I'm very appreciative for, one of the first things I recognized, in your process as you went through this, like you said, over 20 years ago, is that these resources weren't available. And the mentality towards this community and people that were different wasn't what it is today. And we're so grateful that even though it was through the pandemic and it was having to navigate the challenges therein, along with the challenges that come with having special needs children, it was it's the fact that we have these resources. So even though we had to navigate the pandemic, we have so many of these things at play that didn't exist before. And in my family personally, my wife has an uncle who was diagnosed with Fragile X, but he's our parents' age. And that was their biggest challenge. And that's the biggest thing I learned in, speaking with you about your son and speaking with my wife and my mother-in-law about, her brother, is that he was born during an era where, he was just kind of considered and classified as not necessarily subhuman, but not normal. And his entire life was dictated by that mentality. And it's been excruciating for their entire family to watch, because this guy was never given a fair shot, and he's a wonderful human being. And, now, having a child with autism, it's the first thing that I joked about with Dana when I had the opportunity to meet her, was how the first thing that my wife and I recognized after the diagnosis was what a gift this child was born with, and how unbelievably lucky we were to be given such a gift. And now it was our job to do the best we could to embrace it and to foster it, and to really give him every opportunity we possibly could. So with the way that the timing worked out, it was incredible, because my passion was already with the organization, with the foundation, from the onset, but then getting involved on a personal level. And it was funny, just as Rebecca mentioned, these wonderful programs and these wonderful therapies. Our youngest has been in music therapy since his diagnosis, because we were able to get involved so quickly, because there was already a level of affiliation. We were able to start utilizing a lot of those programs immediately, and they've had a wild impact. For our son, his biggest challenge has been speech. And on one side, it's him not being able to speak when he was younger actually fostered growth in other areas, because we recognized his intellect and the way that he would think and the way his mind works, and how advanced he was. But a lot of people, and historically, probably wouldn't notice it, because if they're not speaking, you tend to overlook all of these other things that are going on. And being able to work with these different programs and having this support system that truly understands the challenges and are able to actually help and are this passionate, to kind of come full circle. That's what I'm the most grateful for in all of this, is that you guys were able to create something that is so positively impactful to so many people and creates resources and a community that was non-existent before. And if it wasn't non-existent, it certainly wasn't as loving and supportive and big as it is now. And the one thing I want to open up to is I can certainly speak at length, and I am incredibly passionate about our family and our children in this community. But if at any point anybody wants to jump in with any sort of insight, question, anything like that, I'm very collaborative by nature. So I never want to skirt the rules by any means. But if anybody wants to jump in at any point, please feel free. I always prefer to be as collaborative as possible. But when I was able to start getting to know, Rebecca, and have conversations with her on a deeper level, and come to understand how much passion is behind the foundation and how hard everybody works, because of how much everybody cares in wanting to provide, all of our children and everybody with autism with all the resources to live the best life that they possibly can. And seeing what your son Dana has been able to do, and how far he's come and how much further he's going to go, has been incredible. And in no doubt comes down to, how hard you guys are working and what you've been able to do. And I can't wait. My wife and my biggest challenge, and unfortunately the reason we haven't been able to go to as many in-person events as we'd like to, is we both work. Our older son is 7 and has special needs as well in school, and we actually don't have family down here. And that's part of the reason we've really clung to this community. And Linda and I really hit it off. And I've been so grateful to be able to connect with you, Dana, Rebecca, Todd, everybody. And that's why I look forward to meeting everybody that's in this chat right now. And I look forward to growing with the foundation as a family, because, we don't have family down here. A lot of our friends, are where we used to live. So we've kind of been a team of 4. And we love that. And it's created a lot of special time for us. But in the same right, there have been the challenges where we've been ships in the night. It's felt more like a working partnership than a marriage at times. And not because there's any love lost, but because there's so much that goes into, and that's another thing I want to touch on, is how amazing you've been with guidance and connecting us with the right people. I mean, from the onset, we knew the biggest issue was speech, and being able to get in touch with speech therapists and set appointments and be able to get in and get the ball rolling. I mean, we were given timelines, 6 months, 9 months, a year plus. And on the other side, they're telling you, oh, this is going to be more impactful the earlier you do it. The sooner you get your children in therapy, the more they're going to be able to benefit from it. And being stuck in this middle ground where we're both working, we're trying to set these therapy appointments, we're trying to, follow the proper protocols and do all the things that we're supposed to do to get in touch with all these people, but trying to go through insurance and getting backed up in that regard. It creates this really difficult web to try to kind of comb your way through. And Autism Tree Project has been instrumental for us in really connecting the dots. The fact that we now have our son in 2 different speech therapies, one through a direct referral and the other on guidance and advice. And we've had his teachers in school come to us and say, and I quote verbatim, "Whatever you're doing for his speech, keep it up. He's doing an incredible job. He's talking all day." And those are the wins that I've never been a big crier. My emotions tend to swing between, stressed out and frustrated and overwhelmingly happy. And there have been several moments throughout, our lives as parents where, we started crying to each other just on, the level of progress we've seen, the level of happiness that we see within our children. And a lot of that is, being able to work with these different therapies and these different programs and them giving us stuff to do at home so we can continue to work with our children. And that's been, of all the things and all the challenges and all the things that you kind of have to wade your way through, seeing the smile on our children's faces, I think is what does it for all of us. I think that is the ultimate, seeing our children, happy, being good people, helping where they can. And that was our biggest fear when it came to preschool, kindergarten, and starting to get into school is, do we put him in more of a specialized school? Do we put him in more of a public school situation and hope for the best? Are they going to be able to support him in the school? There's all these different things. And, being able to confidently go in and know that because we've been pointed in the right direction and because we've been able to work with the foundation and get the right therapist working with our child, and in schools that are able to properly accommodate, seeing him go into school and be successful, and be happy and interact with other children, and have fun and enjoy himself, and have teachers that in 2022 don't just, he's a problem child, he's not listening, but foster their excitement. Whether our kid does a lot of stimming, he gets very excited and his arms will get moving, and you see a lot of those behaviors. And 20 years ago, I think that was a lot more of a, they need to be in a different classroom, they're disrupting some of the other children. Whereas now they've really welcomed it, and they've really brought the other kids to welcome it and to understand. And just seeing that positive influence and seeing that positive effect and how far culturally the world, especially down here, has come, it's beyond words. It really is. And that's where Christy and I are so excited to be at more of the in-person events, because I think we can all agree that one of the most difficult things that we all deal with is feeling like you're on an island, feeling like no one truly understands, what you're going through. I mean, it's difficult enough being a parent, just on the basis of what's normal and all of these different comparisons and, social media. Everybody typically focuses on, the great and what's positive. And the reality is, not everything in life is positive. There are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of difficulties. And being able to, get together and collaborate and communicate with other people that understand and other people that have the same challenges. And that's probably one of my favorite aspects of parenthood in general is, being able to talk to other parents and understanding that, you're not alone and that other parents are dealing with the same struggles and that you're in this together, and that the more we talk about it, the more you bring normalcy to these situations, the better you make your kids feel and the better you're able to work with them, to overcome whatever challenges there are and to ultimately be the best people that they can be. So with our youngest, being able to, and again, we haven't been able to do as much as I would have liked, but even in school, seeing the other parents that have children with special needs and the openness of being able to connect with them and talk to them about the foundation. I actually don't even think I brought this up with you yet, Dana, but I had through work, I connected with another parent who's the parent of 2 autistic children. And that was one of the first things that we bonded over, and I would see him every week and we would talk about it. And before I was introduced to the foundation, he was giving me a lot of great advice. And I love the fact that I'm now in this position because he was the first person who I really spoke to where he was like, oh yeah, if you deal with the school district, just understand that, our experience was, it was a little bit challenging. And once we were able to get these people to help and support, that help coming into the school was able to get our child, back on track and where they needed to be. And being able to circle up with him after I was introduced to the foundation and giving him the contact information and all the information to reach out and be a part of this community. I mean, even that felt so good walking away that day, because it's connecting a bunch of wonderful, like-minded individuals that are all working towards the same goal. And that's where I'm so appreciative for this platform, not just to be able to speak and share our story, but also to be able to connect with each of you and understand kind of, what your stories are and where your challenges lie, and, kind of talk through both sides and the ability to learn from each other and take best practice. And while all of our kids are unique individuals and they're all different, there are certain things that, a couple of you may be trying that we've never thought about, and vice versa. And that's part of what I love and admire so much about, this community that you've built is it's very intentional. It has a very specific purpose. Everyone's very driven. And people were brought in very specifically. It's a very chosen group, and it's because you have people that are passionate, that care, that love, everything that you're about, and that want to be a part of it. And that's one thing that I've always stood behind is that passion. You have to want to do something, and being a part of this and being with so many other people that can actually understand a lot of what we're dealing with. And even, early on when we first got the diagnosis, like I said, part of the reason there was no fear, one, my wife works as a BCBA, or she's finishing her certification to be BCBA. So she works in ABA. So part of it was, an understanding on her side of certain things that could be done. But on the other, it was the timing of being a part of this foundation at the right time and having that confidence that, oh, wait, there are people that care and there are people that will help and can guide you in the right direction and give you the resources that you need. Because I'll be honest, outside of this foundation, we had a really tough time in San Diego, kind of getting our footing. And I mentioned what my wife does for a living, solely on the basis that if anybody, is curious about how that works, or if it's potentially something helpful to your household, to any of your children, to anybody I'm just one more resource. I'd always be happy to connect you with my wife, and that way she can kind of explain that side of it. But I am all about, you know, being a part of providing any level of information, knowledge, resources, love, compassion, or even just a sounding board for anybody. So if that's something that anyone's interested in, that's what she does for a living. But even with that, we still struggled immensely with setting appointments. Speech was the biggest one. We kept getting told that it was going to be a year, it was going to be a year and a half. We would have assessments set. Even the diagnosis took a while because we couldn't get an assessment set, and it was supposed to be in the house, but then it got canceled. And people within this foundation were so quick to sit with us and figure out, what do you need? How do we help? And that is something that's so uniquely special. And I really want to drive that point home, especially to the member or the people that, you know, this may be your first time being in this conversation. This may be your first level of involvement with this community and foundation. And the one thing I can tell you from personal experience is that the level of care and passion is beyond anything I've ever seen. And as Dana mentioned, I mean, I can't imagine how busy you are. I mean, with everything going on, you know, with the foundation, outside of the foundation, careers, everything going, and you still find the time, you know, to connect with each family, and not just connect, but, you know, look to identify, you know, what are your biggest challenges? What are you dealing with? What are your biggest stresses, and how can we help? And that is, I mean, that's something that you can't ask for more than that, and that shouldn't be lost on anybody. Because there are certain people that are very fortunate, you know, that you know, have certain resources that they're able to, you know, kind of lean on. A lot of people, especially out here, don't have that. And that was one of the big points I wanted to make sure everybody here and anybody that watches this video in the future understands is, you know, this is a community where, yes, it's very collaborative, and we want, you know, heavy involvement, because that's what keeps this driving, and that's what keeps it growing, and that's what allows the mass positive impact. But it's also the understanding that there's a level of resources and support provided that at least my family would have never been able to afford, you know, outside of this opportunity. And it has given us so much confidence and faith, and taken away so much stress and uncertainty. And I think that's one thing that at one point or another, you know, we all agree that we deal with is, you know, how are we going to deal with this? It's kind of the unknown as you move forward. Especially, like I said, mine is 3. He's about to turn 4 in a month or two, a couple months. So it's kind of the, you know, what does first grade look like? What's second grade going to look like? His speech is coming along. Does he have apraxia, or is he going to be, you know, speaking full sentences at any point? And I think normally my wife and I would both have not necessarily a level of concern, but that stress of, you know, the unknown and what we're going to do when it comes, and working with this foundation, working with each of you individually. It's kind of funny. We don't feel that. And that's why I'll never forget the first conversation that Dana and I had. We were sitting out on my patio, and one of the first things I said was that, you know, we view this as a gift. We really do. And a big part of that is having the resources to be able to foster that gift and understand that it is one. I think if we were in a different position and we didn't have the support, and I hadn't met Linda, and then by proxy, I hadn't met you, and I didn't know about the foundation, we'd still be spinning our wheels trying to figure out how we're going to get Caden in speech therapy. And there certainly would have been a level of panic and a level of, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Which, I mean, we all know how that can snowball very quickly and turn into something bigger. So being able to just be calm and happy and smile and understand that he's a wonderful child and will be just fine. And a lot of that comes with, speaking with other people and knowing that, they've been through these experiences and that they're there for you. So if you're unsure at any point, and I've already had a couple of those moments where, and it's funny, even Linda being on the board, having conversations with Linda, the first couple words that we heard Caden say, I mean, I was crying telling her the story, because there was a minute where I was like, look, he's a happy child and he's super sweet. So I have no fears after that. But, knowing that the speech was coming along and that the therapies were working is, something that I will never be able to put into words. But it was kind of funny because in the same right, my wife and I were totally content going, you know what? If he doesn't ever speak, he'll be just fine. Whether it's, a tablet to help, whatever level of accommodation that's needed, but the good heart is all there. You can see the way his mind works is so unique and so special and such a gift. And I've already learned more from both of these kids than I can teach them in a lifetime. And I think that's the number one thing that I've learned throughout my conversations with other parents of special needs children, people involved at the foundation who don't necessarily have children of their own, but are very, very heavily involved and are very familiar. It's the fact that it's such a special gift, and it's such a unique perception of the world. And I think it has actually made me a better person and allowed me to be better at everything that I do as a parent, at my job, just understanding that I'm so used to, especially now, the wonderment that children have just as it is a beautiful thing. But seeing the way that our youngest, when we're outside, the way he's looking around and the way he observes other people and the way he interacts. I mean, this kid will walk into a kindergarten class and the kids will all run up and give hugs because he's a big hugger. He loves babies, and they a lot of children with autism are big on repetition. It's they see and then they repeat. So with ours, I'm a big hugger and I love to kiss him on the forehead. So now our youngest will see a baby and the baby's so cute, and walk up and go to kiss a baby on the forehead. And there's always a fun conversation to be had before and after, and the parents have all been wonderful about it. But, seeing little things like that and the positive impact it has, it's one of those silly things that at first it was just one of those, oh, Kaden, let's talk to the parents first, make sure it's okay. And now every time he does it, the baby smiles and laughs. The parent smiles and laughs. The brother or sister smiles. And it spreads this level of joy that's contagious. And I know myself as a child, I would have never done that. It's just, I would have never to have done something like that. And seeing the way that my youngest works, where, he'll see another little kid playing when we go to the playground, and we'll kind of mosey over and with no words, we'll make connections with these kids. And you'll see they'll sit down together and they start sharing toys back and forth and they start laughing. And to me, there's something so uniquely special with nonverbal communication because it goes deeper than words. It's this unique ability to connect and communicate with people just on feeling and presence. And I don't even know how to describe it, but I've never seen it, outside of, kids within this community that just have such a different perspective and such a different approach. And it's one of those things that's opened my eyes to so much. And even my oldest son, it's funny, he laughs and he points out certain things that his little brother does. And the fact that he looks at it as such a positive and he looks at it as being so sweet and so cute just goes to show how far we've come and how incredible the world is now. Because like I said, the biggest example I've seen is my uncle-in-law is a wonderful human being. And I mean, for this guy's entire life, he was never given a fair shot ever. And, now it's kind of nice to see, especially when they come visit us, that even he's better received, than he was during his childhood. So this organization to me represents a kind of a microcosm of where the world's heading, and where the world should be heading. I couldn't be more grateful. Sorry, I don't want to miss the chat.
Thank you. Yeah, Karen is typing. Karen Wright is she's our director of ministry. For anyone who is ever going through like a really hard time, Autism Tree, for anything, if they have any type of religion, she calls and she prays with them. And just helps them support them through that
That's
time.
awesome.
And
I mean, and that's exactly what I'm saying is there's literally support in every aspect, anything you could think of or ask for, whether it's, yeah, a direct reference, a recommendation, an event to, connect with, connect with other families, connect with other kids, moral support, spiritual support. It's just, it's so uniquely special. And from a personal standpoint, one of the things that hits closest to home, of course,
so
thank you, Karen. I appreciate you so much. And
I'll read it
Carl, of
out
course.
loud. I'll read it
Okay.
out loud for those who are watching from home and they can't see the chat.
Thank you. Sorry.
Karen says, Mike, there's no mistake with you being here today. You are a gift, and I completely agree.
Thank you. I'm incredibly grateful.
And then Carl sort of said, can you describe more the speech therapies that you're in?
Absolutely. So we've been in one for probably about 9 months now, and it's over at Kara Dodds. And if anyone wants, I'll gladly give everybody my contact information. I'll type it into the chat. I am more than happy to give any info, recommendations, anything I can, because we struggled so much to get into therapies. And they were amazing. They've been great to work with. We had them in 2 days, or actually we've got them in 2 days for a while now. And the progress has been unbelievable. The therapists there do a phenomenal job. They work with you. The sessions are 30 minutes apiece, and they'll come out and they'll recap everyone. They'll give us kind of, not necessarily homework, but they'll give us, they custom make sheets for us. We think that this will work best for Caden, and they'll kind of walk you through, this is exactly how we did it. And they'll show you like the different things they do with their mouths to really get him to do, to make certain sounds, to get certain effects, to teach him certain letters. So Kara Dodd's been great to work with. And then we were able to just get him into, wow, why am I drawing a blank on the name of the hospital? We just got him set up through, oh man, someone help me. Why am I drawing a blank? It's the biggest kids. Thank you. We just got a second therapy through Radies. Thank you. Wow, drawing a blank. I talked myself silly. But we just got a second one through Radies. And we are actually just starting that one. Unfortunately, his first therapy session got canceled. He got a little bit of a cough going. And we've been big on keeping everybody else safe. So I will keep everybody posted as to how Radies goes. But Kara Dodds has been amazing to work with. They've been really, really helpful. And yeah, I'll type my stuff in right now. And that way, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, I think now would be a great time. If anybody wants to connect with Mike, feel free to unmute yourself. And
yeah, please hit me.
We have a lot of new people.
And thank you so much again. And I apologize. I know I tend to speak at length and in circles. I think between ADHD and OCD, my mind tends to get a little bit all over the place. But believe me when I tell you, the love, the passion, the appreciation, and the level of gratefulness I have is all very much there. So I'm more than happy to get with anybody individually, even if it's just, let's get the kids together and have some fun, hang out. I do run a restaurant currently, so if anyone lives by Mission Beach, Pacific Beach, and anyone wants to come in, everybody here knows I am very, very open. My kids run around here and have a blast. So if anyone's ever, hungry or thirsty and by the beach, please come visit me. I'm over in Water Bar, but I'll make sure everyone has my contact info, and I'm serious. And you can ask Dana and Rebecca if you think I'm not. I will welcome everybody with open arms, and I'll probably take care of all your stuff because, that's how this community works. We all take care. And just to kind of add on, last thing, I promise. And this is something I talked through with Dana, and I don't think it would even, conceiving it would even be possible if not for this organization. But I finally I finally figured out, where I want to take my career that will allow for the maximum level of satisfaction, which is, I love what I do for a living. Hospitality has always been in my DNA. Before I got into hospitality, I worked a lot with children. between being a camp counselor and a coach. And I was studying to be a teacher. I was like 4 out of the 5 credential tests passed, like on my way to a program, and ended up, for various reasons, getting into hospitality. But I finally decided that my big push now is to create. I've never wanted to open my own restaurant for a million reasons. I do now, purely because I want to create a hospitality venue, hopefully a restaurant, with the sole mission of operating as a nonprofit, employing special needs adults, and creating an atmosphere that welcomes people with special needs of all ages, and catering everything kind of to that. And I've seen various examples across the country of people doing it with, different businesses, whether it's, gas stations, car washes, restaurants, coffee shops, donut shops. But that is something that I've become incredibly passionate about, because I feel like it merges the two things that I love the most in this world and that I have a fair amount of knowledge about. So again, I'm so incredibly grateful to everybody here, and to Autism Project for the ability to connect with everybody, to be up here. And yeah, just to be a part of something so big and so great.
Thank you, Mike. I'm just so touched right now.
I've always wanted to work with kids. I wanted to be a teacher. Life kind of took me in a different direction. And I've always been I've never been, to each their own. I've never been a big universe person. I've always been a big fate person, in the sense that, you work hard, you do your best, but things tend to happen the way they're supposed to. And that, that was from, the birth of our children, everything that's happened in between, through right now. Everything happens for a reason. And I love what I do for a living, and I've made it very far in my career. And I feel like this is kind of the turning point where I can merge the two things that I'm the most passionate about in this world, and hopefully create something special that, much like you guys have done, but on a smaller scale, do something that's positive and impactful, and just is a positive for the masses. So we'll see, but thank you again.
Oh, Mike, you are like embodying all of our core values, and it's like you are the exact, you were empowered, we embraced you with love. You're embracing people, other families with love, create, embrace, connect. We connected you. You're so open. You're like the pay it forward, like spokesperson, I feel like, for Autism Tree, and then create, and then empower and create. And now you want to create something. Like, this is so beautiful. I'm so glad that you came on and you're sharing this with us. Like, thank you so much.
No, full spectrum.
So
And no, I really appreciate it. And the funny thing is, and I want to make sure everyone knows this, because it's one of those beautiful things where, again, I'm a big believer that things kind of fall where they're supposed to. I very intentionally came on here today with no notes, no pre-thoughts, no pre-recorded anything, because I wanted it to be very from the heart, and I wanted to just speak honestly and genuinely. And that was part of the reason I apologize. I probably ran in circles for a little bit, and I might have been a little repetitive. But the whole idea was I really wanted to be genuine and authentic and come from the heart. So I came in just wanting to not necessarily wing it, but, kind of let it kind of dictate itself. Just kind of let the conversation flow naturally. So it's funny that you mentioned that, because again, everything kind of lines up for a reason. And by the way, Nana Kay, you got it. Family is family, and the feeling is very mutual. And just kind of throw it out there. Don't get me wrong, Mike always works. But now that we're all family and friends, since 4th grade, when I was 8 years old, Suponitsky is a long last name. It's a lot of letters. So we had 2 Mike S's, and I became Soup or Soupy. And that has stuck with me for 29 years. So if there are too many Mikes, or anyone wants to switch it up a little bit, please feel free, because now we're all family. And I typically respond to Super Soupy more than I do Mike, because there's so many Mikes, but there are very few Soupies in the world. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you again, Mike. Dana, did you want to say anything?
I mean, I rarely am speechless, Mike. I think Karen typed in, just how much this was meant to be, and I usually always say that. We have a pre-call with the speaker, and what happened today is I'm using my husband Todd's laptop. My laptop's not working, so I didn't have a lot of time with Mike on the pre-call, but I have spent a lot of one-on-one time enough with you, Mike, to know how you are. And I knew it was meant to be, but then it validated seeing Karen type that in, and just honestly, I was rendered speechless by the level of depth that you brought forward. It's just sort of everything. That's what I would say. Like, there's not enough words that would be able to capture what you just did, and just to tell you, like, you rendered me speechless, and I felt my, honestly in tears, because Rebecca nailed it when she said you truly are the pay it forward model, in terms of, like, Autism Tree would not be here if we didn't have people paying it forward like you are. And we, I think, did maybe a better job when we were smaller, because it was just obvious that everyone had to pay it forward. And now I think that sometimes families just think that we're okay and we don't need people to pay it forward. But the truth is, we depend upon our future by having everyone pay it forward. And today was an incredible gift to have you just speak from your own authentic place. Was honestly, I think it was true. Rebecca and I are united with Karen, and we were like truly remarkable and blessed.
Thank you. No, I feel exactly the same way. And I will forever be indebted. I can't thank you enough for everything. The opportunity to, to join the family. And Nana Kay, you have no idea what those words mean to me. Being a part of a family like that down here, I mean, that there are no words to describe it. It's a level of love, compassion, and support that is irreplaceable and so necessary. And again, you creating that and inviting people in and allowing people to be a part of it and grow with it is incredible. And speaking of which, I'm looking forward to Giving Tuesday round 2. I know we got another month and a half, give or take, to plan it out, but we'll be in touch about that. But no, I mean it. To everybody that's on here, if you ever want to, come say hi, grab a bite, grab a drink. I'll probably take care of it, as I always do. My phone number and email are in the chat. Shoot me an email, shoot me a text, give me a call. But no, I really look forward to connecting with everybody on here whenever we're able to.
I definitely want to give everyone a little bit of background on what Mike's being very humble. His restaurant that he is at, Water Bar, is probably the premier restaurant on the water in Pacific Beach. It is drop dead gorgeous. I happen to love their logo. When I met Mike, I was getting crazy because I love their logo where it's an octopus, and I personally love octopuses. And so I think what we can do is, Mike is talking about Giving Tuesday because he hosts an event with Linda Townsend, our board member, to raise money for Autism Tree on Giving Tuesday, which is the first Tuesday in December. So I encourage you, if you're in San Diego, definitely go and make a donation to Autism Tree at Water Bar and meet Mike, and just soak up the ambiance and energy that he has created at that restaurant. It is bar none, I think, the nicest place in Pacific Beach, let alone it rivals all the restaurants along the beachfront in San Diego. And again, one of the biggest things you can see about Mike is that he is so passionate. So you feel the energy when you go to Water Bar, and that comes straight from the top down, which is Mike.
Thank you so much. And if we have any sushi fans, start doing sushi as well. So
we'll put a link, you guys, in the email that we send out for this lunch and learn with Mike. We'll put a picture of Water Bar and maybe a save the date for going there for Giving Tuesday. We'll put that on there. Yeah.
But no, I'm really excited to connect with everybody. Thank you so much again. This is such an incredible platform. Everything that you guys do, it's with such great intent, and it's with such love. So thank you again for the opportunity, truly. And to everyone that was able to jump on today, thank you so much for the time. it really means the world.
And we do a group picture at the end, Mike. So everyone's got to put their camera on and take a picture with Mike, if you will.
Awesome.
We always love to have everybody with the speaker.
Yes.
I
Okay.
got to make sure I get the Rugrats in.
I love it. I love that shirt. Tamara and Thomas, I don't know if they're coming back. For anybody who wants to show their face, yay! Hi, Emily. Awesome. Okay, we'll take a quick picture. I'll do a countdown. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Cheese. Love it.
Thank you, everybody. Oh my gosh, so great seeing everybody.
I know.
This has been
Take care,
awesome.
guys.
I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Rebecca, stay on with me.